I can fix things. Yeah.
This is going to have to come out of your part of this. And I throw 10,000 fucking worth of credits on the table.
Okay.
He's like, he goes, and where is the body?
And I go and pull back my sleeves and show that there's nothing. And then a dead Yusukai appears in my arms.
Null
Ooh,
space.
hang
He
on.
goes,
I have skills. Okay, null space.
well, he knows null space things exist. He's like,
Well,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah. But I
he's
had to
like,
try.
he's like, null space. Interesting. He's like, this may take a few weeks.
We
He
have
goes,
that.
he goes, if you have other business, I would suggest you, I would suggest you deal with that. I am uncertain exactly how long this will take. I will send, he goes, he goes, if you give me I will send word to your favorite port of call when it's done.
A few weeks. Like 7 or more like 4?
I told you I don't know exactly. It will depend on how long it takes to make the necessary preparations and call in the proper favors.
Very well. A check will start showing up to this address. Sorry. A package will start showing up to this address once a month, roughly, give or take drift. That will contain more credits for you.
He's like, he goes, he nods. He nods. He's like,
I'm like, oh, I point at Kib and I'm like, Kib, print out the contract.
Right. Types on his little data arm pad hoodie cat thing.
Yeah,
And it goes to one of the computers that the heretic has in this room. So
yeah, he just essentially his digital signature is basically a mark. There's no indication of what his actual name is.
Yeah. I pat Kib on the head just a little bit, and I'm like, all right, let's get out of here before we make things worse.
And he's like,
I don't think you can,
he's
but
like,
I could.
he's like, you probably could go before I change my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. See ya later. Whenever.
Stop talking.
I walk away.
Shoo,
like,
Kib, shoo.
He's yeah. But you guys kind of get out. So you have the contract there. You have him working on that. So as you
Once we
walk
get
out, what are you?
outside and the door closes, Ha shoots at his feet but misses on purpose.
Hey, I was trying to help.
You failed.
I love that it made like the fucking video game fail sound for him.
But we ride our cycle back to the ship and we'll take a day to plot course to the next stop where we're trying to meet the guy that knows more about the list and find the other person.
And find somebody to sell the illegal
Cargo
glass,
to.
your cargo to.
Yes. Damn it.
So,
Kid, when we plot this course, we're trying to come out at the farthest checkpoint, or beacon, rather.
Right.
Gotcha. And then we're trying to be sneaky from that point on because we can't afford a smuggler's nest.
well, yeah. All right. So
compartment, not nest.
All right. So
It's too bad we can't find a shipment of coffee.
it's It's going to take you 11 days in drift.
Okay. Good thing I left that up.
All right. So you managed to make it to the Varillax Concordance. There is a once you get your first dip into the Varillax Concordance. I gotta look this up here because I'm on the wrong page of my notes. It's the Abois system. There are 4 planets there. There's the capital planet of Eskrin. There is Werix, Losk, and Encalis are the 4 planets.
And which one are we trying to get to, or do we not know?
You don't know which one off the top. No, I don't think so.
So we start by going to the furthest planet out.
Hurlig did say that. Okay, so that's Encalis.
But you said Hurlick said what? As I'm trying to remember things.
Um,
That would be a culture check because I'm trying to remember
Super.
information.
I think Sosky said.
Well, I don't remember much.
Yeah.
So we're still going
Sosky
to start with
Maritz.
that furthest out.
So he's basically the Sosky Maritz is a half gem elf. From what
Interesting.
you understand. Let's see. And you're going to Encalis first?
Yes.
That's on. Good. Okay.
So let's see.
So we're talking about Encalis. Which I will type in here.
Uh,
Mm, Where is it?
one and a half times one.
All right. So
Finding a buyer looks like it's a DC of 19.
all right.
Okay, Kib, I know it's your cargo, but so diplomacy or profession merchant, which you haven't taken yet. So let me see if I can do it. Well, apparently I found us a buyer.
So
Not only that, that should have at least made it by 5.
where is Galaxy? There it is. Nope. Ports of call. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes, ports of call.
There's
On success, you find
Newcomer.
someone willing to buy cargo at the sell price as determined by the GM. For every 5 by which your check exceeds the DC, increase the sell price of cargo by 1 BP per lot. If you fail, you still find a buyer, but it's reduced by 1 BP per lot.
So here we are. Let's look at application, find buyer, cargo sell price, determine the base sell price of cargo, dude. Add the new result. Let me see. Where does it say? Let's see. Trying to figure out what it tells me.
I know I wrote it down
Roll a
somewhere.
D8. If you roll a D8, by the distance travel and any complications in that order. Okay. So it was 11 days. That's plus, so I need to roll the. Oops. Six.
We have 3 lots of psychic glass. That was what it was.
Plus 1 build point per lot, so that's 7 per lot. So, and the complication was that it was
Illegal.
illegal. Let's see, that's cargo types, complication. Does that modify the price? Enforcement kit with a successful scan and an inspector. All right. So what does it say there about that? What is that? Okay, so I also need to put on something here. The Buron. Okay.
Sorry, folks. Selling stuff is hard.
So it's worth 7 build points per lot.
And we have
However,
3 lots. Okay, go ahead.
However, you do have to deal with a customs official who wants to search the ship. But I'm going to treat this as a skill test. You guys each pick a different skill that you want to use to help try to get past this and then justify it and then make a roll. And we'll determine your success based on on your rolls and skills that you're using.
Scott, or sorry, Kib, I believe your best skill is computers. Well, and then engineering. But
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to roll for me.
oh, you're in the car. But you want it to be computers? And I will use my vast knowledge of diplomacy. See, this is why I wish I was a scholar. I could have rolled that again. But it's still above 15, so it's not bad.
So tell me how you guys are justifying using these skills. Like what does this particularly mean? Like how do you use computers to hide the fact that you're carrying illegal like religious glass, psychic glass items?
Like I
We
would
could,
make like a modification to the inventory list that's within the computer to show it as something else that isn't illegal.
but has the possibility, like scientific samples. So they might not want to get too close. And I'm trying to use as much actual law as I can remember in my conversation to make him think that it's all on the up and up.
All right. And I guess
Say, and what will the doctor use? Doctor, use the fact that you can confuse anyone just by hanging out with them.
Dr. Oglehop is actually going to use. Well, he can actually use medicine to back up you guys as like it sounds like the plan here is that you're trying to tell them that this is like that you've got medical cargo and that's what the manifest is going to say and you're going to be talking about laws around pharmaceutical cargoes. So he could back some of this up with medicine.
That
So
sounds great. Come on,
yeah.
doctor. Yeah, look at the doctor go.
So like I think Dr. Oglehop whether it's because he actually knows what the fuck is going on, or because he's just tagged on to some shit you're saying about like that you guys are talking about or whatever about medical stuff, pharmaceutical stuff. He's like, oh wow, man, like you mean like the injectors that I brought that all have like the extra like the injectors that I brought that have like the extra doses of like of inoculation stuff, like the uh you know guy, I was trying to think. I made it out of a plan on Exodus 3 and a plan off of Vico 3, Vicoark, something like that. Vicoark, anyway, but like the textural compounds between the plant from two plants from completely different systems, create like this effect where it's like numbing, and it's also like it's great for like and he's kind of going over like the uses for some medicine that, and the customs official just kind of eventually he's looking at the manifest, and he can't really find anything wrong with the manifest, and you're talking about law and Dr. Oglehop is talking about medicine. He's like, all right, fine. He's like, mm, he's like he's like Uh, he gets a little bit like flustered. He's like, fine, fine, okay, I get it. All right. He goes, but be advised that there are strict control. He says, but be advised that there are strict laws about introducing pharmaceuticals into the market that are similar enough to the base products that are put out by local companies. You don't really stand for a lot of competition here in the market. I think
Article 5, Section 7 of page 23 of your PDF. Yes, sir.
so he's like, yeah, so he's basically doing that. He kind of goes over the penalties if you're caught peddling the wrong kind of drugs and whatnot. Like, mostly it seems like this is Verilax Concordance. It's starting to feel a little similar to the League of Helidis in the fact that there's a lot of like corporate interest in the way the laws that are written. But this place is actually ruled by powerful technomancer, council of technomancers, and the pollution is everything you've heard it was. It is bad. There is smog of all kinds here. There is all kinds of fucking pollutants. You're warned not to go outside of like this, not to go too far outside of the city because, you know, they're like the agent, customs agents, like is telling you like wouldn't go too far out into outside of the city limits. It's some of the runoff from some of the factories over time have produced fairly hostile fairly hostile conditions out there. There's some uh, there's some pretty nasty stuff you don't want to get caught up by. Some of the local wildlife, and there are some places that even your protections on your suits aren't going to hold for long. So I'd stick within the city limits if I were you. He's like, not as bad as he says, he goes, but we are the cleanest planet in the Verilax Concordance. Our air purifiers are the, highest quality, and he hands you like he's like, it's all in the visitor's information packet. He's like, by the way, he goes, there are, of course, restrictions on kinds of weapons that you can carry in public, what kinds of weapons and gear you can carry. And he's like, and there is a long list. He's like, because you don't happen to have any psychics on your crew, do you? Or mystics? And Dr. Oglehop goes, well, I wouldn't exactly say mystic. He goes, but other people say, he's like, and the agent looks at him and he's like, It's like religion. He goes, all mystics and psychics are banned within the Verilax Concordance by order of the High Council. He goes, anyone caught utilizing psychic abilities or practicing mystical abilities, particularly anything in the form of telepathic nature, will be subject to extraordinarily harsh penalties under the law, including and up to death. And I think Dr. Oglehop just kind of looks at me and goes, whoa, heavy.
Yes. Very heavy. Thank you. Have a good day.
He's like, I'm going to keep my eye on you. And he points at Dr. Oglehop. He goes, that'd be kind of hard and awkward and sticky and runny and weird. Your eyes get a little weird and irritated.
Doctor, go check
Well,
on what the new guy's doing.
oh, yeah, sure. And he
Mm.
kind of goes and takes off.
All right. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. It was nice to see.
Yeah, he's like,
Then after they leave, we wait a few hours. And then we contact our buyer.
so you managed to find one Razeki Tur. And you have to meet her at like a bar, like a relatively shady bar. And it's probably called let's see. Maybe it's called the Oiled Enchantment.
Interesting. I walk in a black leather dress, or at least that's what my says it is.
And
And I take Kib and Ha. We leave the doctor on board with the new guy.
all right.
But he knows where we went just in case.
When you kind of come in, like you look around and find you kind of look around. And it takes you probably, it took you a couple days to find, but
Right.
you find this Rezeki Tur, and she's like, you the contact, or maybe like as soon as you like walk up to the bar or whatnot, like there's a uh, let's say she is a let's say she's a Svartalfar.
Very well. I look at her and I go, 8 foot tall
Shadow
and glowing
Fae,
red eyes. That's
and
me.
she's like, uh she's like, sit down, order a drink, and act casual. And then she kind of points at the screen, the vid screen up there that's showing like a Brutaris game from the Pact Worlds. And and she's like, loudly yell about about that play.
What the hell is wrong with this system? This game's like 2 weeks old.
Like, and she's like, said to play, but okay. And she's like,
Seeing that,
well,
I think he's right. I saw that play. It was kind of interesting when I first saw it, and it's kind of working out now.
and like, and she's like, good. We need to appear to be discussing the Brutaris game. She's like, do you have it? Do you
Of
have the
course.
shipment? She's like,
Everything has gone as planned. We are ready to deposit. Sorry.
"Mm,
The play is in motion, and the score has been set.
She's like, she's like, she's
Oh,
like,
come on. I can't believe he just dropped the ball there.
yeah. She's like, they should have taken that trade at the beginning of the season. He's been worthless for the second half. And she's like, uh,
His footwork is trash.
yeah, she's like, finish your drinks. She says, I'm going to get up she says, I'm going to get up and go towards the back room. Finish your drinks, yell about the game a few more times, and after about 3 songs have played, head that way. And she kind of nods over to what looks like a to what looks like a hallway that looks back like it's going back to maybe a stock room or bathrooms or something. She's
Bathrooms
like,
and a stock room.
yeah, bathroom, so and she kind of like gets up and heads over in that direction and disappears.
Mm.
Um,
I
there,
download the app to my comm so that I can pick the songs on the jukebox. And after 3 songs played, I mentioned to Kib, man, this game is trash. I'm going to go and relieve myself. And then as I'm walking away, I text him to stay there for the moment and to wait till 2 more songs go by before he does the same thing I did.
It's
But
like, I
Ha, of
don't.
course, comes with me.
I'm
Oh,
enjoying
and
the
have
game.
another drink.
I'm gonna be like, I, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm enjoying watching. I'm gonna watch a few more plays.
right?
I
Yeah.
get that text and I'm like, it's probably for the best. And I do go relieve myself before I step back out and then step into the other room.
All right. Uh, you when you eventually make it there, Kib, do you just wait and watch the game through this whole thing, or do you eventually join?
I would watch like 2 or 3 more plays and then be like,
That's about
man,
15
that
minutes.
went through me like nothing. I gotta go potty, and I get up,
Yeah. Okay.
rush to the bathroom.
All right. Yeah. So
Not
you
really
get
help
the
me. I won't actually go to the bathroom. I'll go to the direction and then turn last minute, look around, and be like,
right. So Reza Key, like as soon as you go like through the stockroom door, Reza Key is back there sort of waiting, and for you,
You
and
said three
by this
songs.
point, yeah, and by this point, you you by this point, like Philip is waiting for you too because he waited extra, but she's like, come with me, and she kind of like looks around for she stops and she pulls a shelf aside, pushes a shelf to one side, and then revealing like a computer panel that she types a couple of she types it, like uses her body to block but types in real quick whatever the code is, and there's like a door that opens up, and she's with a set of stairs that lead downstairs. She's like she's like, after you.
I go down the stairs.
While
She's
that's
like,
happening, at the exact same moment, I go,
yeah,
okay, I guess I'll go down the stairs.
yeah. So you go down the stairs, and eventually you are led there. There's a small hallway, and eventually you come to a room uh where she opens the door,
Same way she did before.
yeah, more or less, and once you walk in, it's like a whole other bar down here, except it's kind of interesting because you look and you see like you see like a couple of the glass sensors, like the ones that you're hauling for them, um, that are sort of like in the middle of the room with like a something burning in them, and there's this silver vapor that hangs in the air, and the vapor looks so wet and so liquidy that it almost looks like banks of cloud. You can just see how what the moisture in the vapors and whatnot. And she's like, And she looks at the two of you, and she's like, she's like, uh, stops to talk to, and there's a whole group of people down here. Like all of them, there's like some Lashunta, there's some Sheeran, there's like a Warlanisi. One thing that you notice is that these are all races that all the species down here, except for a couple here and there, are species that are born with inherent natural psychic abilities. Some form of telepathy and what have you. Um, and you uh you yourself you yourself you know don't feel any different, but there's a like they all of them seem to be fairly relaxed, but nobody seems to be talking. Like they're like, at least not out loud. There seem to be people looking at each other like there is a meaningful conversation going on, but
I think penis really hard.
people will kind of look at you for a moment, and kind of look at you for a moment, and then like you see one or two roll their eyes and go back to whatever they're doing and what have
It
you.
still tells me what I need to know.
And the and she's like, she stops to talk to one of the others, like that walks over and seems to say something to her in telepathically, and she's like, it's good to, she says out loud, it's good to see you as well again. She's like, and yes, it appears the censors have come through. The censors have come through. She's like, would you, she goes, the substance, she's like, we use these in our um hold on a second. She's like, we use these in our meditation rituals. They enhance psychic abilities, but we have to have the right resonant of glass for it. She's like, as you may have noticed, psychics are our people with telepathic or psychic abilities are considered outlaws here, as are reality benders, the witch warpers, and mystics. The technocratic council doesn't like anyone who has powers they don't have. She's
Did I
like,
lose you? Okay, there you
no,
are.
no. She's like, hold on, I'm answering a text with my kid. I'm sorry.
You're fine. So, kid, right now, I need you to think about engineering. And only engineering for a little bit, okay?
When do I not think about? Dude, I was thinking about at one place it could look better with better design. This place looks kind of cool the way it is. If we like spruce up the technology in here, could enhance their psychic abilities. Like you could incorporate technology and their little psychic thing. Like he starts rambling and thinking about combining psychics and engineering to make them more productive.
Right. All right. Think about that. Don't say it out loud.
And I think Rezuki probably looks at you and she's like, um, let's see.
Huh.
Yeah. And so it kind of like, she's like,
She's confused, befuddled,
sorry.
and a little bit curmudgeon.
She's like, you can see why it's very important that these things aren't picked up by law enforcement. They'll use the just possession of these censures is cause for them to arrest anyone and under suspicion of helping psychics or mystics be simply who they are. Like, uh, she's like, she's like, if you can find more if you can find more of these censures, she said, she said, we would, we would like to take them off of your hands. Just a certain amount of discretion is all. I hope we can trust you.
More people I've seen to be like
The
he starts
pollution on this planet is ridiculous.
his brain like shifts from technology to when he says that he's like, man, I'm just making a lot of people angry.
You know,
But
we've already have it listed that it's medical supplies and biological
true,
samples. Uh, and I'm saying that directly to her as well as you, Kib. But so if you have the
right?
correct form of transportation, then it should be fairly easy for us to upload it into a proper container for you guys to then disperse, as you will. Oh, God's dead.
Like, where are we supposed to like deliver these 3 lots of stuff? We
And
can't
she's
bring it
like,
down the stairs. That would be hard.
she's like, no, no. She's like, we have a place set up where we can unload it. I have a crew that will be coming to I have a crew at a warehouse. I have a crew at a warehouse close to here, outside of the city limits.
Excellent.
It'll
That's even better.
She's like, it will
Does
look
it
a
have a
little.
landing pad?
No, you're going to have to. Landing will be a little bit tricky. And once we begin the unloading process, once we begin the unloading process, we'll definitely want to make the exchange as quickly as possible. The locals don't particularly like outsiders, and well, the pollution out there is strong enough. It'll eat through your
Shields?
yes, it'll eat through protections very quickly.
Hmm. You know,
So I have a quick suggestion to make this move a lot quicker. You pay us, and then we move the product from our ship to your little warehouse place. And then once it's inside, we can just up and leave. And then you can do what you want from it there.
Payment upon delivery.
well, yeah.
See, that's going to take longer. My idea means it
Kib,
gets done faster. I'm just trying to negotiate. I'm very bad at
right,
this. Never mind, I'm done.
hang on. Hang on. Well, that's not a very good one. But you're definitely getting the holy shit, Kib. Okay. You still get the glare, but I feel way better about your speech now. Meanwhile, emoticon. She's thinking about it. That's what's going on. Ha.
Well, no, she's basically telling you that she's like, why would we do to both of those things separately when we can do them at the same time? How does it save any
Eh.
time at all?
What I was going to say before Kib had his excellent suggestion. It was an excellent suggestion, Kib. I scratch him behind the left ear. And I go, uh, what if we flew over this warehouse and did a parachute drop off? And
Either
then,
way,
go ahead, go ahead.
she's like, she's like, Look, the pollution will. All I'm saying is that
Oh, the
once
pollution would
you,
eat through the. Yeah, that makes sense too.
all I'm saying is, you land, we unload, and we do it as quickly as we can, because it's not going to make. Because the only difference
Yeah.
between you parachuting it off and us doing business there is that you're making us go wander around hostile territory to find where this stuff landed.
It makes sense. All right. Well, let us go back to our ship and we'll get this done as quickly as you wish.
What?
Huh.
Hey, you've been in this town a while. Do you know someone named Soth? Soth? I need to find that person. Just random. Never mind. Never mind.
Actually, with that 22, that's still a good question to ask right now.
Well, this is going to be a culture check because it's also kind
Oh.
of, does she know anything?
Okay, I was gonna
Does
say.
anyone she knows know anything about
I
this guy?
shake my head and I re-explain it to her.
How do you re-explain?
I give race, facial scars, fucking
You don't
you know,
have facial scars, but
I make it up. Now it's a culture check, but yeah, I explain to
elf.
her who we're looking for. Half Gym Elf with a
do you
certain
have
set of skills.
a name?
Does that culture check
Soth?
remember me?
Well, you do
Sespen
remember.
Rafi?
You should remember it. It's Sofsky Marins.
Oh, hang on. I bet I do have that written down.
I had Soth. That's it. I didn't remember the rest of it.
I do have Saskia Marins.
He's like,
Used to be a pirate.
so she's like, Sofsky Marins. You know, and you said half gym elf?
Yeah, about yay high.
You know, I do believe I know him. He's helped us with a couple of sticky situations. Sofsky Marins, couldn't tell you where he's at now, but I can tell you that he works.
She gets on a comms, starts flipping through
Symbolicis.
information.
And she's like, he works for Symbolicis Tech. Security specialist. I understand he likes to hang out at in Detalo's dome on Losk.
And Losk is the next planet in?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. All right, so I text our new member who is still nondescript because he doesn't need a name and tell him to fire up the thrusters so that when we get there, we're ready to go.
All right.
We taught him what button to push for that.
Uh,
It's got a big sign with an arrow pointing at it.
Right. It's
All
got
right.
like 4 arrows around it.
Right, yeah, it's over the button. But anyway, and then, we let her lead us back through the maze to get back to the original place. And when I
right.
step out into the bar, I go, I can't believe the score is this. Man, nobody go in that bathroom. I destroyed it. And then I finish my drink with one gulp and walk out the door with Kib. And Ha, of course.
Nice.
Technically, I'm still in man form, so it makes it even funnier.
That was a fun. I enjoyed the game. I don't know what everybody else is talking about. It was entertaining. Who are we rooting for, anyways?
The guys in red.
Oh, it must be why I enjoyed it so much, because the red one was doing terrible, but the other one was doing good. That's what I was enjoying.
Right. Well, since we've been in the back and come out, they are actually ahead by 2 points. But remember, we saw this game 2 weeks ago. If I hadn't mentioned that before, we could have made some bets and won. But we didn't. because we had other things to do. So we head immediately back on the cycle and go to the coordinates requested and do the exchange.
All right, yeah. So you manage, yeah. It and it takes a bit to do the exchange, but she's got a crew of like three people, to help
And
out,
we help.
and but once the exchange is made and you get paid, Rezaki just kind of offers you a farewell. It's like she's like, be careful of the. She's like, just watch yourself around the authorities. They're not forgiving.
Understood. The bonuses, of course. Now we have nothing for them to find.
And she kind of chuckles. And she's like, uh, farewell. I hope we are able to do business again at some point. And
Agreed.
like,
Hey, you never typed her name for us?
okay, let's see. Rezaki. Oh, damn it! Might help if I hit the right button.
It's okay.
I want to see how far up I'm on the spelling.
A little.
There we go. All right, yeah. So you managed to get your cargo offloaded and make your I said it was 7 apiece build points apiece. You had 3 lots, so that's 21 build points.
I will write that
When
down in
did it
one
go
moment.
down?
When we got the cargo to give them in the first place.
Oh,
We only had 3 build
originally
points
9.
left.
It
Huh?
was
It
going
was
to be
originally
9.
12. Originally, we had 12 build points, and we did poorly, which is part of the reason we only had 3 left. We needed 4 to have a smuggler's box.
We were going to get 9 for 9 each.
I don't remember that.
Oh,
I don't think
And
I ever
and
like
I haven't
rolled
listened
that.
to the episode enough to a last episode enough to actually be like, wait a minute, that is true. So no, we're going with there's 7 apiece, unfortunately.
okay.
We'll
I'll
call it
update it.
losses due to not doing so well on our rolls.
That works. So 7, 14, 21 more build points.
Takes us to a total of 24. I'm about to change it.
Okay.
Okay. And it's no longer. Oh, wait. That's not the right spot. I got it, though. Erasing psychic glass.
You're almost a third. If I remember the math correctly, you're
Yeah, it
almost
was
a third of the.
65 we need.
Yeah, 65 would get you like a whole extra level 1 ship and a level 1 crew to do this cargo stuff for you.
But that also means we can actually afford, when we go out again, to have a smuggler's compartment if we have a lead.
So, all right.
All right, so we immediately take off. Keep a low profile until we get out of Atmo. And then
All right.
fucking head straight to the next planet over to see if we can find Source.
So Losk. Let's see.
Is there anything once we get to Los that we can buy to help with the fact that we're so polluted? Like, is there another gas mask we can attach to our suits?
So Losk is actually even worse. Like
Yes,
like your
which is why I'm
scanner
bringing
should.
it up.
So,
I'm
but
still coughing from the 7 days that it took us to get here.
Losk. Actually, would somebody like to scan the planet?
Yeah, we can spend a day scanning the planet.
All right.
Kib, I will give you the help roll. Apparently, I do not help. I'm like, fine, I have no clue what's going on here. And I push the keyboard over to you, and I'm like, you do it yourself.
See, you hit this, and this, and then you get this results, and then look, see, this planet need more. It's toxic or more than the last planet, so we need more defenses if we walk
So,
down there.
so what you're hold on a second. You can find out a number of things off of that roll. I'm just trying to find a book that tells me all of that. Interstellar species, tech. So the only thing bad about having lots and lots of options is that there's lots and lots of books, and going through them to find the right one that you need. See, it's character. There's the galaxy exploration. All right. So you are able to find out a few things here as far as scanning. And I want to get the technical here. Exploration, system exploration, world mapping, world analysis. So that is number of elements can be analyzed in one per day. It can be analyzed in 1 day per starship. Depends on the nodes on the. How many nodes
We have
does your?
one, I believe. Let me confirm.
All right.
We may have two.
That's kind of what I wanted to know.
We have MK2 mono node, so we only have one, so only one per day.
All right. So, what would you like to learn about? The sapient species, threat species, level of technology, level of magic, level of religion, level of accord, which is basically how much everybody's on the same page, more or less. General alignment, large settlements, or planetary anomaly.
Let's go. I don't know, Scott. How many days do we want to do this, kid?
Well, is planetary anomaly like the gas, the toxicity level of the planet?
Well, anomaly would be like something that doesn't follow the normal laws of
Let's.
the normal scientific laws of being, like gravity, heavier, like a different, an area of gravity that's vastly different from everything around it, but shouldn't be, or an area where, like, only an area where, like, where the where minerals, take on a liquid form or something really weird that doesn't exactly conform is what an
Okay.
anomaly is.
So we need to find the first day. We need to find the major city because we need to figure out where the dome's at.
Those settlements.
Yeah, settlement.
Yeah, we assumed that they'd
Okay.
have domes.
So you're going to find that pretty much all the cities on here, well, all the cities on here that with any technological level are dome cities. There are
See, we
dome
knew
cities,
things.
and you can kind of find, and you figure out that the capital city is you find the capital city, and from what you can tell, it's called Calig, and I will put that in there. But that's the what looks to be the capital city. It's fairly close to what appears to be privately owned dome. Um, the but it's fairly close, and it's got it's the most major, like, docking port.
Well, just that day. 7. Let's do it again. Except for something else.
What do you want to know about?
We did cities the first day. Let's do technology today. That way we know everything.
All right. So the level of technology is generally pretty. Well, I guess let me get the computers roll for that then first.
All right, Kib, I'm going to give you my help check, and maybe today I'll be helpful. Let me go back to my actual sheet because I'm still on the shuttle. Well, that 13 probably wasn't good enough, but luckily.
Oh, shit. It's actually supposed to be different stuff. Let's see. And you were looking for a level of technology, then that would be engineering.
Well, let me give you a help check there.
And it should have been physical science for settlements, but we'll just go
Well,
with what we got.
that is
All right.
definitely a hell of a help check.
So the level of technology here is it's high, but it's not high like in specifically like they're so much more advanced that you're going to be able to find shit that doesn't exist in the books or whatever. But maybe they're specialized. Maybe like some of their products are more streamlined in their manufacturing and what have you. Maybe it's not like technology that you can use as a day-to-day basis, but more like background technology that's more advanced. Like there's a number of like um, quality of life kind of things. Um, that the technology is, and where they seem to be advanced in is hybrid items, things that incorporate technology and magic.
I like this planet already.
The heck?
All right.
Hang on, my roll 20 just froze.
Uh-oh.
Do. So the next day,
All right.
anomalies.
Anomalies. Let's see. What would? Oh shit! Am I a page or two off here? There we are. Varied by anomaly. I'm gonna think. You're not reading any anomalies on this planet. At least
Good.
not direct anomalies now.
All right, so that's 10 days. Oh. Ah! You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Just keeping up on the calendar. So, what else do we have left? We've done technologies, cities, major settlements, rather, and anomalies. So, we have.
Magic, religion, and accord.
Let's do a chord today.
Alright, so I think that's a culture.
So, that's me all by myself. All by myself.
Oh, planet seems to be well enough organized. I mean, everybody seems to be more or less on the same page. There is the normal striations of divergent viewpoints, but for the most part, it seems like the majority of society here follows the laws that the Technomancer Council has set forth.
We find a place with decent atmo inside the sphere and land there, pay appropriately, and then spend the next couple of days trying to find Sorbo.
Sorbo.
Not
Thoughtkey.
Sorbo. Yeah. Apparently 3 days.
Well, as you go through, first of all, Dome City, there's as bad as there's a little bit of a haze in here, it's much worse and much thicker outside. It looks nigh impenetrable from the inside of the dome looking out. In terms of like how bad and it's not just one color either. It's a myriad of colors, just sort of mixing together in a very sickly way that doesn't seem to have a whole lot of it doesn't seem to have a whole lot of pattern to it. You do find out if you're as you're kind of like searching for information that there are essentially tramways, like underground. There's essentially
Subways.
tramways that fucking and this is maybe part of how like the technology is higher end, is that like the cars for these tramways and their protections, in the system, their like rail system is somehow protected a little better from the corrosive and properties of the pollution.
You know,
Like,
kid, next time we can expand the space station, we should really look into building terraform technology. I bet these places would pay a fortune for such things.
Right. This seems like a fun planet just to hang out on. Just as
Apparently,
a
your lungs
personal
are better than
perspective.
mine.
Well,
mm,
not lung wise. I mean technology and the combination of
It is
technology with
interesting.
magic.
Their subways are
I,
definitely different than anything I've seen recently.
I just think
yeah,
it's a cool thing. I like
y-
the combination of magic and technology. I don't
Mm.
know why.
like
Hey,
walking around, you can see like sort of like there's a great deal of like the sort of propaganda for the Council of Techno Mages, sort of like laws and how society should be and this, that, and the other. And you see like people walking around like with with a like maybe like a comb. Maybe you see like like a street punk with a comb that like he's giving voice commands to comb his hair while he stands there with his arms crossed trying to look tough. You see like people walking by with their various pets. um you see a couple of people various different but you see there's a general feel that like there's a quality of life thing going on here that you don't find elsewhere, like um various things that are personally automated and what have you, like they're that thing and what have you, yeah. But outside of that, as you're walking through, and there's a lot of bright signs, like neon like looking lit signs everywhere, advertising for various shops or businesses. And various parts you go through do look and feel a bit run down, like they're older and not well taken care of. Maybe there's a little bit of stuff that seeps through and cracks and in on like some of the poorer districts or whatever. um, you do see that like there's a huge difference as far as the wealthy and the elite, and the main difference seems to be that those who have those who technomages, technomancers seem to be better off. Like they seem to have more rights and more citizenship, benefits than anybody else does. Um, not that there aren't people who are just sort of like normal, because those people do exist. They're just second class citizens. And walking around, you kind of like like walking by the rail station, where you guys go look at it and check it out. You see that there's like a schedule up for departures to cities, various cities and stuff. You notice that there's another guy that appears to be an outsider like yourselves. There's an orc that's standing there like talking to one of the, standing at the official like ticket area. He's like, "Come on," he goes, "I know Detello's Dome exists. You guys, there's no you're telling me there's no rail system out there?" He's like, "No, sir. I'm not telling you there's no rail system out there. I'm telling you you can't go to Detello's Dome." He's like, "Well, there's a rail system. Why can't I go?" He's like, "Because because the rail to Detello's Dome is owned by Detello. You have to actually have a pass. You actually have to see. You actually have to be on the list." He's like, "On the list?" He's like, "What do you mean on the list? To go to a dome? I'm sorry, but Detello owns his own dome and the rail that goes to it. You're going to have to." He says, if I knew how to get on that list, do you think I'd be just telling everybody that walks up here?" He's like, he's like, "Well, then how's somebody supposed to go to Detello's Dome?" And he's like, "Exactly. You're not supposed to know how unless you're supposed to be there. You, me, we're not supposed to be there." And he's like, and the orc kind of like trundles off grumbling. He's like, "Stupid fucking exclusive blah bullshit." He's like, he kind of walks by you guys. He's like, looks over at you. And he's like, "Good luck with that asshole." He's like, and fucking, because he sees you looking over towards the ticket booth, and he's like, and kind of walks off. He's
As he's
sort of
walking off, I was
ejaculating
like,
anger.
"Thank you. We'll do just fine.
Yeah,
We're good."
yeah. He keeps walking, but
Yeah, he's just
yeah,
vexed now.
you see, of course, a lot of different like people running around here. Like there is, a significant amount of like elves and humans, but there's also like members of various other races. Plenty of androids. There's like a lot of androids here. Um, there's a lot. There's maybe fewer SROs, but there's a lot of androids. There's a few Yisekai here, some goblins, some, various this is that's and the other. But
All right. So we go to the ticket dude and be like, "So we are scheduled. What time is that we were scheduled to get up? We're scheduled on the train to go to the Telos Dome.
he's like, name,
Tib.
business, organization.
Crap, I forgot the name of our organization. Hey, what's the name?
Lichtum Corporation.
Lichtum Incorporated.
He's like,
Lichtum Incorporation. Yeah,
"Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on here on the list for a Kib or Lichdom Corporation."
I know, but we're going to see Seth Cameron. He's expecting us.
He's like, "Yeah, you're still not on the list."
Ah, I have to talk to somebody about not getting that put through yet. I was told I was going to be on the list and I would be good.
So you're gonna try to if
That'll
you're trying to
bluff.
if you're trying to bluff your way on, then I'm going to need a bluff check.
Oh, use the bluff, Kib. Use the bluff.
It's a
That's
pretty
a
good
good
bluff check.
bluff.
It is, but would you like to give a help roll there?
Ooh. I'm horrible at bluff. Can I use diplomacy for my help?
Sure.
There you go.
How are you using diplomacy to help?
Oh. Hmm. I guess part of that would depend on if I can see anything that would help. Let me see if I can. I really can't find anything that would help me as far as that would go. So, Kib, what was your bluff again?
Like I was stating that someone said we would be on the list and we should be. And it should have been processed through. And the
It
fact
was
that we're
also
not, that's not right.
you-
Hmm. When was the last time that this list was updated?
like it was like just this morning.
See, there's the problem. I talked to him, what, 4.5 hours ago, and he said it'd be on there by the time we got over here.
It's
Is
like
there a refresh button?
who who exactly did you say had told you who exactly did you say you were supposed to be in contact with over this deal? Like who exactly was it you were going to meet?
Oh, Susky Merritt. Merritt? Susky Merritt?
That's pretty close. I'm bad with pronunciation.
He's like
I
he's
show him what it's spelled like on our itinerary.
Sothke Marins? He's like, you have business with Symbolis Tech?
Yes.
Duh.
Captain
He's
sent
like,
me.
give me a minute here. And
Okay.
his kiosk, like the window on his kiosk goes all black, like and opaque. You see him kind of like, and there's a couple of minutes where like you don't see or hear anything from him. Um, and when he gets back, he's like, I'm. I guess the boss he says, I guess you're clear to go through. He's like, he hands you a couple of passes. He's like, you're gonna want to go down to the far. You're gonna want to go down to the far load zone on gate 7A. On set gate to gate 7A42. And from there, you'll show them your boarding pass. They'll get you on the They'll get you on the tram and give you further instructions from there.
Hmm.
Oh. See, I knew you could be helped. See, the captain did do it. I knew he'd be helpful. Anyways, nice day. Bye.
It's like,
As we
yeah,
walk
yeah.
away, I remind Kib he's not supposed to talk about the captain to others.
I know, but I was thinking it would help.
Hmm. Well, at the very least, I believe our audience is being granted because there are enough people that know you at this point.
Oh, I didn't know I was famous. That's cool.
It's probably
Onward
a
and
trap.
down. Oh,
I think yeah, like you make your way. Once you make your way to the gate, like and show them your passes, they're fairly perfunctory. Like they don't talk to you much other than to tell you, you know, board here, your seats there, da 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 da, basic stuff. Once you get on board, there are refreshments. There is, uh, there's maybe a, let me see. There's maybe there's a like yeah, there's like a servant. There's servers that come around and take drink orders. There's like um, there's like a bar. It's not an open bar, and there's also several pharmaceuticals available as well. Um,
I think
there's
I've
like
had enough drinking today. Could I get a glass of water? That sounds good in the
yeah,
current moment.
they bring you a glass of water.
Chair's comfy though, just so you know. Thank you very much.
Mm.
So going through the like wilds and whatnot. You see a lot of vague shapes in the smoggy, the multicolored smog that are that look terrifying, but because you're only ever seeing them through the smog, you can't make out exactly what the shape of them exactly is. Like how much is exaggeration, what exactly these creatures are, and whatnot. They'll seem to keep a bit of a distance from the tracks. Um, and you kind of like as you're passing through you see like a whole lot of like stand up posts on either side, and you're guessing that that has something to do with the defensive mechanisms. And it takes about it takes about 2 hours, um, but you get it takes about 2 hours, but you see eventually you see the dome coming up. And this dome not only looks like it's in much better repair, it also looks like it also looks like it's like been a lot fancier too. In fact, it looks like the whole place has been converted into one big, I don't know, a pleasure house party. It's like a party dome almost, like because as soon as the tram stops and you get at the station and you get off, you were assaulted by lots of smells and scents of very savory food. You can hear you can hear people celebrating and having a good time, and you can see towers, in the sort of like towards the center of the center of the dome. Um, Although it does look like that the parts of the dome that are in use are the ones that are sort of like a broad stretch that leads to the central towers and from the tram, but it doesn't look like the whole dome, the entire whole dome has been converted over for this purpose. You're not sure what the rest of it is they're doing with the rest of it, but most of the action looks like it's happening either here or at the towers in the center.
Hmm.
Right. So, as we're leaving the tram, to be like, so towers? Is that where the party's at? This might be fun. I love parties. That's where all the fun is. Let's go to the party. He might be there. He sounds like that one dude we talked to. What was his name? Uh, he had a long, weird name, but he said he likes the party, so that's where we'll find him, right? Let's go.
Right.
Huh. So yeah, you managed to get down. It doesn't. It's getting down to the central district, as it were. Takes you probably more time than you would have liked to because there there are a number of people here. But most of them stay within the swath, the sort of like, what you might assume to be like a visitor's district of sorts. When you get closer to the towers and whatnot, it's a little quieter, in terms of like you can still hear a certain amount of celebration and loud noise, and whatnot. But whereas whereas you've been walking by like open, bar fronts where you can hear the music, dozens of styles of music jamming out from multiple different places, from multiple different shops and what have you. Here, it's a little bit more like the guards are a bit more formal, and people that are allowed in and out are wearing actual like business wear that you're seeing and what have you. And there's a lot like, and you can hear most of the noise in this district is coming from, a fairly close nightclub and what have you. And once you get to like the district, the sort of like central district, you are stopped by a couple of more security people. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Visitor section is back that way. You
I know
have,
we're
unless you
going
have
for Seth
specific
K.
business.
Merritt. We're looking for Seth K. Merritt. He's expecting us.
Uh,
He is. We have
you
an appointment. Why else would we be here at this place?
it's like, it's like they're like, stand here. One of them walks off. Like the two of them
There,
stand. Like a couple of them stand in front of you. Like just kind of like, you know, straight like stock shoulders, watching you.
I take
Like
half a
hawk.
step over towards the side, kind of like so people can still walk by, but kind of just step to the side. This a good
Yeah.
spot?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, just stay there. He's like,
Yes,
he's
sir.
like, he looks at you, Philip. It's like, you might join your friend over there. He's like you. There's a guy that like what the guy that walked away seems to be like, he's got his hand to his ear, like he's got an ear comment or whatever. You see his mouth, his lips moving, his mouth moving. Maybe not his lips because he's kind of turned to the side. You can kind of see his jaw moving anyway. And then stop and then move again. And he's like, he comes back. He's like, he goes, yeah, you don't have an appointment, but Mr. Marins is interested to see who you are nonetheless. He's
Oh,
like,
Told you.
he'll enjoy
he's
seeing
like,
me.
he's
This is
like,
important.
he's like, he looks around. He's like, wait here. They'll send a car. And
Yay, cars.
there's
Yes, sir.
like, you have to wait several minutes while they continue to, allow people in or deny them based on, whatever and what have you. And eventually a hover limo shows up. Um, and
What up, cover limo?
it's got a jacuzzi in the back. It's like, it's and they're like there's and maybe the driver gets out and he's like, uh, did you guys, he's like, did you guys mention you're from with Lichtem Corporation?
Not
Originally,
here,
yes.
but with the Ticketmaster we did.
Oh, okay. And he's like, he's like, he steps out and he walks over to one of the security guys, and the security guys points to you, the two of you, and he's like, and he walks over. He's like, Mr. Marins will see you now, or he said, or he won't even. He didn't even say that. He's like, Mr. Marins sent me to pick you up.
All right, you can hop in the driver's seat. We know how to open the door, and I open the door and be like, "Ma'am, first."
I step in.
I
He's
step
like,
in and pull the door shut.
yeah. You take off and he drives you up to one of the towers next to like the central towers. So not next to, not the central tower itself, but one of them close to it. It's kind of, there is another nightclub fairly close to it. You drive past, and the people going in and out of this place are dressed in incredibly high fashion. Um, and he,
I convert my dress to match.
and you
Never mind. I was just gonna ask that. Peckables. I
and
don't have anything special, but that's all right.
you enter, you get to the tower, and the driver comes around and opens the door for you to get out. We have
I step
arrived.
out.
He's like, and he gestures towards the door of the tower, like, where there is, a couple of guys in suits there, so maybe there's a uh, maybe there's like an uplifted bear standing there, like with his shades on and what have you, and maybe on the other
Really, an
side there's
uplifted bear with telepathy in this system? How strange.
I might give you an idea of it might give you an idea of Detello himself, Detallo.
Hmm.
But there's a but on the other side there's like an extangy soldier, an extangy in a business suit, his tail kind of very his tail is unnervingly still, um like like a posture poised, also wearing what passes for shades for his odd shaped head, on either side of the door. When you get there, there's like when you get to the door, like um the uplifted bear opens the door and watches you as you enter. When you go in, the lady at the front desk is a human. She's like she's like she's like she's like she points to the elevator, and she's like, "You're going to the top floor, the penthouse."
Thank you, ma'am. I walk to the elevator.
I turn it on.
Well, when you get to the penthouse, and there's a lot of people up here in the penthouse. They're all dressed very, very high fashion. Like they're all dressed very cutting edge fashion, and there's like lots of like really expensive looking artwork around. There's, drinks are in very, very, high end looking glasses. There is, server walking around with a tray of glassware, and, there are other servers walking, or, there's more than one server with a tray of glassware. And, you know, there's like two of them, and two with like walking around with like little finger foods on a tray, and what have you. And you see a great number of like there's a DJ that's playing, um, and there's a lot of noise and stuff going on, and there's a number of like and there's as soon as you get in, like there is what looks like some sort of concierge, just like it's like, ah, he goes, the presumptuous ones have arrived. He's like, Mr. Marantz is on the balcony right now.
Okay.
He
What?
he requested that I send you to him as soon as you arrived.
I
Will
go.
do. Thank you. What?
Uh,
Thank you.
like the concierge sort of nods. And it's like and goes back to his other duties.
Walk over to the balcony and be like, tap on the little glass.
Yeah, it takes you a few minutes to get to the balcony, and the balcony is sort of open air. It is sort of an open air, like at least at the moment anyway. You see the controls for where like it's got like a force field when he wants to close it off. But
Well, that
you can
explains
tell
why I
those
can't get out.
you can you can tell like imagine that he's probably got pretty solid security on it, and he kind of and you see the Sothki for the first time. And Sothki has his hair is the color of like a his hair is the color of an amethyst, and when he turns to face and pulled back like into a ponytail, sort of and slicked back into a ponytail. But when he turns around, you can, there's a couple of strands of his hair that are not, that haven't stayed slicked back, that are sort of like, kind of falling out just on the, like in his bangs or whatever, in a sort of rakish fashion, as it were. And his eyes are like a very deep sapphire color. The rest of his skin color is the color of like normal elves and humans and what have you. But his hair and eye colors are striking gem color. The amethyst for the hair and the sapphire for. And he's dressed incredibly well. Um, but there is like this air about him that says that like he's a little bit more than he seems. And he kind of turns around and he goes, so. My people tell me that you've been lying your way through checkpoints to get to me.
Oh no, I've been 100% honest. I want to meet you because my name is Kip, and I was told
Well,
to come seek you out.
he's like, first of all, telling people you have an appointment when you don't actually have an appointment is still a lie. Secondly, Kib,
Technically, I
I
did
was
all of that.
wondering.
Kib told the
uh,
truth. I did all the lies.
He's like, splitting hairs, nevertheless. He goes,
Well,
you're here, and I'm assuming you're here because
I know
Well,
what you know.
because Captain Hurlig has been disappeared for quite some time at this point. I'm guessing you want to know about about the last lead he was following up on.
Yes, completely.
Eh,
Because we, I, I don't know, somebody, um, talked to him. He was on a video talking about what he did,
Kib,
and
just show him the video.
He says, "One moment," and he kind of he goes, "Mm,"
right,
and he kind of looks over and he kind of looks over. He stops. He motioned his concierge over, who comes over, and he's like, "We're not to be bothered until such time as I tell you otherwise." And he says, and the concierge, very good, sir. And he kind of He kind of like walks back off of the balcony, and Sothki waves his hands, and an opaque force field pulls itself like descends over the door, the frame of the overly large oval frame of the balcony. And he says, "Okay, now we can talk for the time
okay,
being,
so
anyway."
nobody can hear anything but us three, right?
That is what the
Okay,
shielding is for.
I know, but people already want to kill me, and I just don't want to risk your existence. All right, video. This is the video that I watched that led me to you, and I press play.
He watches it and he gets to the end, and he kind of and he stops and he says, "Well, you want to know a bit more about the list?" And he kind of points to an area on the balcony. And by the way, this balcony is fairly large. It's not like, a small balcony. It's a penthouse balcony, so it's big. Um, he points over to a couch that that sort of like hugs the contours of the balcony rails. and a wood that has like a small like table in the middle and a couple of like soft chairs facing it. And he says, "Please, we might as well have this conversation where a tad more comfortable." And there's like a bottle. There's like a couple of like there's like a small like bar next to it, next to the setup. He walks over and he kind of grabs himself a bottle from behind the bar and a couple of glasses, um, and he brings them over. And he also um, grabs a decanter and brings it over, like this crystalline decanter, and he goes. He sits down. Where do you guys sit? Do you sit on the couch or the chairs?
Hmm.
I would
Excellent
take a chair.
question. I was gonna say I'd like to see which one I think is the best. I think I'll take the couch.
All right. He sits in the other chair, and he puts the bottle and the glasses down on the table, comes back with the decanter, and he sits in the chair and he goes, "So you already know that the names on that list are Amber Wreath operatives or members, as they'd call themselves.
Well, and a few
Mm,
others, yeah.
None of them," he says, "the thing to remember about them is this is a bit deeper. How much do you know about Tarivia, the legend of Tarivia?"
Kib, show him the footage.
So
So
you only know what's in the footage.
Well, no,
right,
the footage we're showing is actually us on.
so we've been on that planet, and there is a very cool. What was that chick's name? The female gym dragon on that planet, right? Was that the right
No,
planet? No, that was a different planet.
the planet that's only a crescent moon of its former self,
Oh,
where we
and that
found
had
the message in the first place.
yes, and it had his. We were only on part of it, and we didn't get a look at the rest of it because it was distorted with time or something, if I remember right.
He's like,
Something.
Yeah, we've
well,
been to it, but I haven't done the full research on the specifics of the planet yet. That was another one of my steps that I still have to complete to fully understand everything.
then, then let me take you back a bit. Tarivia existed in the very distant past. Their nectar is a well-known and a highly expensive, and he points to the crystal decanter, is a very aphrodisiac, as well as a minor hallucinogen and intoxicant. The Turivians were famous for this nectar. Came from a plant. It came from a fruit that only grew on their planet. It was legendary for their level of culture, level of cultural advancement. Also very legendary for their pleasure parties, their nectar. It was a very much a veritable paradise, or so the archaeologists will and historians say. Predates the gap by some unknown, ungodly amount of time, I'm sure. However, one would think that the Turivian nectar would be all but extinct, as well as other Turivian products or byproducts. They're strangely not. Your Captain Hurlig came across the fact that not only were they not as rare as they should be, after coming across 5 bottles, he had them tested. And of course, one of which we expected some were imitations, and 2 or 3 were actual imitations. They were poor byproducts, as every so often people try to try to copy it. And two of them were actual, three of them were actual Terevian nectar. Here's the rub, though. Only one of them was scientifically dated to predate the gap. The other one comes up as the age dating on it shows that it's vastly more recent, as in the last decade. Recent, but also authentic. Not a reproduction, not a cheap knockoff, but new, fresh Terevian nectar. And that got Captain Hurlig digging into it. And he'd compiled this list mostly for blackmail purposes. But he found out that all of them had something to do with fresh Terevian nectar making its way onto the markets. He tracked them back to companies and agents related to these names on this. But that in and of itself could have put him in the crosshairs of the Amber Wreath, finding out that they have some secret way of gaining fresh Terevian product. Well, that could be potentially a gold mine, far more than what he was going to make off of blackmails, and a lot more than Netrine offered him for the list. The archaeologist that was killed was the one who did the age dating for a lot of the samples we found earlier, that Hurlig found earlier. Only one that could have been able to track back the origins. And Hurlig thinks that planet is Terevia. But if that's Terevia, then there's got to be some way, some connection to get that stuff from point A to point B, from the past to the present, or at least some portal leading to whatever happened to Terevia. After all, it's like somebody took a huge chunk out of that planet. Personally, I'm not sure if that is Terevia or not. The archaeologist was supposed to confirm all of that. And he's no longer with us. Space dust by this point. I don't know if the Savage Circle knew that he had important information on this, if they had, or if they did, what their end game might have been with it, but pretty sure that's who took him out. But there's even more. In digging into this whole thing, the captain, Hurlig Joth, had told me quite a bit about hearing stories about how the sort of like he came across a number of different clues and a number of different hypotheses and a number of different pieces of evidence over time that uh, Terevia didn't just disappear or fall in. The madness took it somewhere. The decadence and the decadence and insanity of the upper echelons of Terevian nobility made some kind of deal with some cosmic power somewhere. The Terevians exist, and most of their paradise with it, through some cosmic intervention. At least that's the theory he'd cobbled together from all of the evidence he'd gathered. I found something more entertaining than this. All of these agents know about Terevia because they're involved in something called Operation Topaz. Never been able to actually crack what that is, what it means. I don't know if it's a splinter group within them, if it's something that's been greenlit in secret by the leaders of the, or if it's something else entirely. I'm not. It's all evidence lead, all hypotheses, all evidence lead to suggest that this Operation Topaz has something to do with the Amber Wreath's interest in Terevia and its disappearance. There's a there's a warehouse in Calig. He says it's got all of Herlig's relevant information. I mean, I gave you the short form of it, but if you want to peruse the long form of everything you found, you're not really going to get much more. You might get a few pieces of detail here and there, but I've perused through all of that. The short version is there's something the Amber Wreath is trying to figure out what happened to Terevia, where all these is somehow involved with the fresh Terevian product on the market, and they're willing to kill people to keep all of this secret, either them or whatever this Operation Topaz is. And I still haven't been able to parse whether that's a splinter group, a separate entity, or just the code name of the operation or the code name of the operation to find and exploit Terevia as it stands.
Okay, I have one outside question. What was the group that killed uh what's her name? That tortured her and whatnot? Uh
Who?
Gormy, your cousin?
Gormy. Gormy, yeah.
Well, you guys found out that was that Clutchell. You found out that she wanted to be a part of something really bad, and that's why she was on it. She like Tira Skilled outright told you that she didn't represent any of the organizations that he knew of or any organization that he was involved in, which you can read any number of ways. But given the
Okay.
fact that you guys sort of
So
got the idea that she was trying to be something and trying to impress somebody,
I'm gonna ask my brain, so many names. Seth.
Sothke,
I'm gonna ask Safi. So have you in the existence, have you ever heard of Clichell?
Clutchell,
She been
perfume.
involved? Yeah. Has she been involved in any of this stuff trying to get through it? I'm just trying to piece everything I've come across into a straighter line.
Perfume designer Sheeran, perfume designer Clutchell,
Yes.
ward of Tira Skilled. Tira Skilled is Amber Reese. I can tell you that without a question in my mind. Clutchell, not so much. She wanted to join, even had a little support within the group, within the organization. No one important enough to actually get her in. If she was on this, it would be my guess she was trying to impress the higher ups in order to get in. And she was certainly had the level of wealth that they require, especially being connected to Tira Skilled, but she was
Well, let
I
me
think she
say
was
this.
rejected because she was reckless and didn't because she was reckless and didn't wasn't entirely discreet.
No,
Am I,
and that's why she's not going to make it because I put a bullet in her head. Anyways,
yeah,
so
I heard about that.
sh- yeah. Anyways, she was torturing my cousin, Soviet, to get information about the captain's list. So that's what she was doing, just so you can add it to your information. Of you know a lot, so I'm just going to add a little nugget of 1% of information, just so you know it, right?
Security is my business. And he goes, and he kind of chuckles at that. Like he goes, it's like if I were you, I'd pay very close attention and watch yourself very closely. The Amber Wreath has a lot of very powerful members and powerful friends. Tira Skilled is only one of them. you He goes, his tier skilled is only one of them, and Netrine, even I can't pin her down. I've spent a great deal of time trying to get an angle on her. She's a little bit too, she's a little too well connected and a little bit too slippery to be able to be pinned down. I would say that, I will say that this much. I don't know that Skilled would come after you for any sentimentality, but he might do it out of convenience or a reason or to cover something else up. Or he might simply just come after you because you embarrassed him in some way. But I think more likely it'll be political or to do with the Amber Wreath. I understand there's already been a released statement that you are being branded as assassins. The Pact
Yeah,
World
we
is
had.
already.
They said that we shot her in the face for political reasons and whatnot, but it was more out of anger because she let her men shoot my cousin. But whatever. That's
Eh,
whatever.
it's classic Tira skilled move. He'll probably use this to leverage some political agenda or economic agenda and whatnot. I would imagine that's. And given his reach, I imagine that you're going to just have to wait this one out until you're going to have to wait this one out until there's an opportunity to get out from under it. There are a number of systems I wouldn't exactly openly visit at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it to a minimum technically at this point, but we're trying to revive my cousin. That's going to take a couple weeks. Maybe by the time we get back, she'll be back and then she can help. But hopefully his reach doesn't reach all the way back to our base. We're on the base that Captain Hurlick was on before eh, people overthrew it. I was doing my part to do what I can on the station to keep it afloat.
Like he's like, I think Sothke is like in the future. Perhaps he says some Symbolist tech does a great deal of business in a lot of places, various sorts of things. You next time if you need to contact me, perhaps you might. He says you might make some arrangement with he says, you know what? I'll make some arrangements. I'll put in some paperwork that your station is perhaps shopping security systems and would like a security consultation. We'll put you down for security consultations. Your organization may have to shell out a few credits for me to come pay a personal visit, but if you're in need of my services, that may be the best way to go about it. I mean, we can meet here. After all, Ditello was generous enough to allow me to buy my own tower here, but it is still Detallo's dome, and I don't think he owes any particular allegiance to anyone to sell anyone out in particular, but he is a bit opportunistic. Perhaps one day you'll meet him. Quite the character, very
Yeah.
interesting, but nevertheless, be careful what you say and to whom you say it in uh, anywhere in the Varillax Concordance, and certainly certainly make sure that if you have any mystics or psychics. They are, or witch warpers, or for that matter, precogs.
Well,
They
I got a
best come
question.
incognito or not at all.
Okay, I got a question for you. So technically, we have a business transaction on this planet, and sometimes we come across cargo that is useful to people on said planet. So we come and go as we please, but that security consultation still sounds like a good idea too. I'm kind of security would be useful on our station to up it. We have a guy that oversees security. Um, he's pretty good. He's a big red guy. He's awesome. He's entertaining. Um, but a boost in what he can operate with would help him if you consult with him, and that would be awesome too.
Huh.
Yeah.
Means says uh, he goes, I could very well do that. I could very well offer an actual security consultation. He goes as well. He goes, and he reaches into a pocket of it, like his vest pocket, and he pulls out like a key card, uh, like a key chip, like that you slot, security chip that you slot into, slot. He goes, if this, he goes, this will get you into Hurlig's warehouse downtown in Calig. He goes, or downtown. This will get you into uh, his warehouse. You won't find anything much more than what what I've already given you. Just sort of confirmation in case you doubt my word. But if you wish to, but it's yours now. You appear to be the heir to Hurlig's, uh, well, whatever. Says,
Well, yeah, I'm just taking up the information until he returns. So keep it. I don't know what my brain went. It faded. Anyways, yeah, I'm just taking over and keeping it going until he returns. That was my plan.
and he goes, you have intel that he's alive?
I don't
You did
have
just
any.
share that at the beginning of this conversation.
I don't have hard evidence that he is. More or less a feeling in the universe.
Well, I suppose if you're hopeful he's still around, there's at least that much. He was a little bit more clever than people took him for, so he might if anybody could have made it out alive, I suppose it could have been him. And he goes,
Exactly.
he,
Simply exactly.
he's like, as far as it goes, I think that's all I have for you at the moment. If I find out anything more on Operation Topaz or anything more on Tarivia, I'll contact you. If you hear anything about if you get any concrete evidence that Joth Hurlig is still alive or where he might be, I would appreciate if you let me know. He was a friend after all.
Yeah, if I get more, I will definitely let you know. Yes.
And he's like, in the meantime, stay, enjoy the party. He goes, and he kind of scoops it, and he says, and he pushes the bottle, and he points at the bottle, and he grabs the decanter of the Terevian nectar, and as he gets up and he points to the bottle and the glasses, he goes, "Take your time and enjoy. It's a fine vintage right there." He says, he says that's a fine vintage right there. He says, in the meantime, enjoy the party. When you and he goes, and you have, and he says, the concierge will give you my contact information when you leave. That way, he says, but I need to make the rounds at this point. Otherwise, people are going to start to wonder, what is a party by Sothke Marins without Sothke Marins? And he kind of
Oh,
does he kind of gives you like a grand gesture and a bit of a cocky smile. Um, and waves his hand, and the opaque shield goes sort of drops, and he dissipates, and he kind of like turns back, and it turns around to the party at hand, and he goes he's like, what is this? I thought I told you to bring the volume up. I mean, I had this DJ flown in all the way from, and that's, and then like he kind of gets swallowed into the crowd from, you know, as he's hollering, talking to people and whatnot.
so I turned to you on the couch, Philip, and be like, that was a lot of information. Useful information, but useful. This is fun.
Does not compute. Does not. I'm just kidding. It was a lot of information, but next time, I suppose we should go back to our ship and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I was, yeah, I was thinking the same, or just go get his contact information, and he can increase the security on the station. That I think that would be useful. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost, but it'll be useful, especially with how
It
many
should be
people I'm visiting
useful
off.
and give us extra time to talk with him after he has more.
Right. All right. So we
Right.
go to the concierge, get the contact, exchange contact information or whatnot, and head back.
Yeah, so it's a couple hours trip, back on the tram again, and you are, like you get to your shuttle and get on board. Um, you guys have any further conversation, or are you heading off again?
We head back to the ship and we take off.
All right.
Hi, tonight I played Philip Defoe.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
actually, that's a good shot to leave with. Let's go ahead and do the sign offs.
As I said before, go ahead.
I do have an after credits thing, but we'll
Of course you do.
do that.
I would be surprised if you didn't. But tonight I was Philip Defoe. This is my only game I play here on Monday nights, and I have a lot of fun with my friend Kib. Even though Kib will be the death of me yet. But past that, on to Psychopathic. Who is Kib?
Yes, I'm Kip. I don't know. I'm doing everything back and forth with the brain. Did bad at diplomacy in the beginning, then I did better just talking to him because he had information. I'm like, hey, this is cool. But I'm Kip. Um, any other games? I'm not in anything at the moment, but sometime, I think he said sometime in November, we'll bring Lands of Ibaria back. I'm not sure exactly when that will be, but that'll be fun. Other than that, I'm just here on Monday, and that's all my brain can think of. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we get this that like maybe like we get a scene like, and we see Netrine, uh, and we see Countess Cerivia, from the Velquin Empire, and they're kind of walking through. They're kind of walking through a spaceport, and they're talking. Maybe there's some attendants, but they're sort of like a little bit back. And they're both dressed incredibly well. And Netrine, and you hear Netrine talking to Countess Cerivia, and she's like, says, "Are you certain about this?" And Countess Cerivia looks at her and says, "I'm absolutely certain." She's like, as long as my standing in as long as my standing in the Amber Wreath is still good." And Netrine's like, "It is." She's like, and she's like, I don't see any harm in, she says, I don't see any harm in a business deal. He's like, besides, I would hardly call them friends, just a convenient business arrangement. Is like, and Netrine is like, this could be, and Netrine is like, well, I suppose that's true. And she's like, and you are free to do as you will. He's like, your dues are paid, you're in good standing. And she's like, um, and what about your brother? And Countess Sarivia looks at her and goes, my brother? Well, he's been rather busy lately, so I'm not entirely certain he's going to be paying the greatest attention to all of the details. So I imagine a little extra can be done. And they kind of like get to a stopping point and they stop and we see like a rather grand ship, not like huge or anything, but like it obviously looks like it belongs to somebody with money. It's fairly well armed, but it's also very sleek. This is a Velquin ship, big, like a freighter or an explorer class vehicle with decent amount of weapons on it and very smooth, sleek lines with sort of swept back patterns of like gray that seem to fade into the background black, and this sort of thing. And it's got a very gothic looking style to it, or well, not gothic, I said sleek, but and she turns around, looks at Countess Sarivia, turns around and looks at Netrine, and the two of them do the sort of kiss cheek thing, and Netrine is like, she's like, pleasurable voyages to you, and may you find yourself all of the joys that you truly deserve in your journeys until we meet again. And Sarivia says, looks at her, and to you as well, and turns and boards the ship. And we get this scene of Netrine in her very fancy, super high fashion, dress, kind of standing there with her, sort of like attendants off to the side, watching as the ship takes off and and starts to fly up to break atmosphere. And then we see then the ship blows up into a ball of flame. And we see Netrine looking up at it, somewhat with an expression that is incredibly difficult and ambiguous to read. And she turns and walks away, and then we cut to black. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just King Zerat. I am sorry I stumbled over a few things tonight. I'm getting texts from my youngest who couldn't sleep, so I was trying to give her advice on how to find some sleep. Uh, but this is the end of season one. When we come back to season two, I look forward to the big things that are going to be coming on. I will be awarding a little bit of experience points after we go off of the air, sometime between now and then for for the completing season one to the characters. And I think for the time being, that's all I've got. Let's bring out the dragon and get out of here. Bring
Bring
out
out
the
the
Bring out
dragon.
the
dragon!
dragon.